Bilt has a pricing issue. United has new offers for you. Chase is giving you a warning about fraud, and Hyatt cards have increased offers. All of that coming up right now on MTM Travel.
Watch out, you gamers. Not video games. Miles and points gamers. Sorry.
Boomer gamers. So happy Thursday, everyone, and happy increased Hyatt credit card welcome offer day.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that they both are coming out with a new offer in the last week or so. They don't tend to go in lockstep, and I mean the personal card outside of the 5 free night certificates, which came around 2-3 months ago, right before they changed all this stuff. And I said that was the offer to grab because free night certs are going to be worth more than ever. They decided to change the points offer, which we haven't really seen in a long time. And I still hate the way that they display this offer. Like, I feel like it's a bit of false advertising.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. It is a 75,000 point offer, 75,000 points, 45,000 points after you spend 5,000 on purchases in the first 3 months, and then 2 extra points for every dollar you spend, up to $15,000. So you can get the 75,000. Now the personal card, you should probably be spending 15,000, or at least it's a good idea because of the free night that you get. I do agree with you, but I feel like it's a little bit less bad because a lot of people will spend that, and it does make sense to spend that. But yeah, 45,000 for 5,000 and spend isn't really, that doesn't feel, especially with the prices, 45,000 isn't even one night at some places.
Yeah, and that would have been like blasphemous to say 5 years ago. 45,000 doesn't even get you a night. You'd be like, oh, you can get 8 nights or whatever. But no, when they say you get 2 bonus points, like you earn 1x on everything anyway. So that 15K of that extra 30K is already what you're going to earn. So it's really a 45K bonus plus 1x extra on the 15,000. And that's what kind of drives me nuts. Like and it's similar to when cards are like, oh, you can earn 20x on hotels with this card. Oh, well, 12x of it is just from being in the program. Okay, well then that you're not, the credit card isn't giving you 20x. That's false advertising, but I mean, legally, technically true. So this one's okay. I would maybe wait for the free night cert deal to come back around, the 5 nights. If you're not in a rush to get the card, I do think it's a good long-term keeper because it comes with the free night cert after the annual fee, and then you can spend that 15K to earn the next one. And if you do take the offer, definitely try to hit the 15K in the 6 months so you get the 60,000 points from the bonuses and then the extra free night cert from that 15K in spend.
And you do make a good point, because I think Chase in the past with similar offers, or maybe other banks, but they have only put the bonus portion of it. They haven't included the base point in the total welcome offer amount. So let's say they say you get 2 extra. So I could see how that is confusing and not as good. And I certainly don't think that this is the greatest offer Hyatt has ever put out. On the business card, it's a little bit different. 70,000 World of Hyatt points after 7,000 in spend in the first 3 months of card opening. This is a bit of a different card because it has a higher $199 annual fee. You don't get that free cert like you do with the others, but you can spend your way up much more. And then, if you really spend, what is it, 50K, then you get a points rebate, which could be hugely valuable as well.
Yeah, I think if you're chasing status and you're going for elite nights via spend, or at least a chunk of them, then the business card is the better one for you. If you just like Hyatt and you want to have a card that gives you a little bit of perks and gives you that free night every year, which you're going to get more than $95 most of the time, majority of the time, especially now, I think the personal card is the better option. I mean, if you're going for bonuses, you should grab both and then keep which one works better for you. But I think for the majority of people that aren't chasing status, that probably is the personal card.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't really think the business card is for somebody who's more casual to it. You really have to be looking at the spending aspect and doing that. And the personal card, one of the better cards I think in the world to have and keep, because it does pay for itself. I don't know. I've had that card forever.
Yeah, that's what people used to say about the AIHG card when it had the uncapped free night cert. So I think it does make sense if you can use that free night every year. Category 1 is now worth what, up to like 25,000 points or something crazy like that. When it's top peak pricing, you can definitely get the value out of it. That's worth it. What if they ever came back with the unlimited use 2 free night certs anywhere offer back when, the OG, you used to get it after $1,000 to spend. That's when I first grabbed the card. But imagine they brought that back and just did like a category 1 to 7 cert. How crazy would people go for that?
And bring it back where the top tier elites, the globalists, get free nights in a suite. guaranteed, or a free suite upgrade or a juice. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't do that. Not that part of it, because suite upgrades became part of the program after they did that. But why not give your globalists, like your top tier elites, some extra perk for applying for the card like they used to do? That's an interesting thing that we don't see too much anymore.
Yeah, we don't get that discount. You remember it was every like fall we would get the card holders get 10% or whatever off of award bookings, and people would go gangbusters for that. That should definitely come back with how they've raised rates. If you want to drive people to the card, that's a good option for you to do it. And then long-term keeper, if people know that comes around each year, they'll wait and book it, and you've already baked that extra cost in plus some. So it'll be interesting to see if they ever do that. Probably not, because it's been a hot minute since it has come back. But something I've been meaning to write is, I think that the Sapphire Preferred, by reducing the rate of your transfer to Hyatt, kind of made the Hyatt card more valuable in turn for that, because you earn one true point, and they do have the 2x bonus categories. I don't think it's a better overall card than the CSP, but if you want to earn Hyatt points, it might work better in certain situations.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what you talked about, right? Some of the motivation maybe behind that was Hyatt not being happy with the chase cards being more valuable. So perhaps that what it is. Well, you're saying, I remember when this happened, remember when that happened. I just want to say, remember when the top category was a category 7? Remember that. Those were the
Remember when
days.
30K was like the top peak price?
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. But staying with Hyatt, what can you do? But Hyatt is a Chase card, right? And Chase has their Chase offers, and those are very valuable. And a lot of people take advantage of them. And their targeted offers, super simple. They don't get as much coverage, I think, as Amex offers, not as lucrative over the years. But I've certainly taken advantage of some of them and done well. Frequent Miler is reporting, though, that Chase may be cracking down on gamers, people who are gaming these or abusing them. They added new terms to the offers. Abuse of offers may result in exclusion from future offers, which I think is fair. And we don't really know, how are people abusing these?
Yeah, I don't know if it's, I mean, the first thing you think is if you go to a place and just buy a gift card to lock in the discount, that could be a way. But I don't think that's what they're really focusing on. I think they're focusing on maybe like the pays promo, of trying to link those two things together and trigger these offers. Or maybe there's different spending avenues that you can use that make it look like you're spending money at a certain vendor and you weren't really doing it. I mean, a lot of that is dried up now. So I don't know that's going to be a problem. Maybe they're just late to the game and they put that in there for that, but now it's not the case so much anymore. So we'll have to see if they do enforce it. They could just be lawyers putting stuff in there just in case they ever want to use it down the line. I mean, we see that happen all the time, where terms get added and we're like, oh, is this going to change? And then nothing changes. I do like that Chase offers you can add it to multiple cards, which you can't do with Amex unless you have like card pointers or something like that. So that's nice. And I do think originally, like when they rolled out, it was crappy, like $3, max $3, max $5. Nothing too exciting. I think they've gotten better. Amex offers have gotten a little bit worse. I might give the edge to Chase offers these days, with just usefulness that they put out there. So remember to check those. It can offset your annual fee every year just by using those.
Yeah, for sure. And I still, it reminds me of a story of a very infamous person in this space who I can't name, but they were talking about how they would rip off portals, travel portal, or just portals, right? A portal would have like 100x bonus or something like that for a small business. And then they would order 1,000 of something. And then they would call up the small business and change the quantity to 1. And the small business didn't realize they were getting charged for the 1,000 from the portal, and they were basically ripping off small businesses by doing it. So not that that has anything
Why are we
to do
talking
with
about
this,
that?
but
That's terrible. Like you should be in jail. I'm sorry.
yeah, but I'm saying people come up with all kinds of crazy ideas.
Yeah.
This person should be
Yeah.
in jail. What a terrible,
Yeah.
what a terrible thing to do. And then just to admit that openly to people at like travel hacking things, like there's those of us who are not on that level of douchebaggery in this space. Let's just put it that way. But there are those that are, and so I can, to the point of Chase, I can, something happened, and they said, okay, let's
Yeah.
throw this in there.
I mean, we've seen like stories about that where they've done it to like for hundreds of thousands of dollars through portals, and a lot of times it's like, let's say Best Buy doesn't want to ship to you anymore because you're a reseller, and you can order stuff through the portal, and Best Buy will cancel it, but sometimes the portal payout still goes through, and people have realized that and just kept ordering, knowing that it wouldn't go through. And once they see a pattern, they will come after you if it ends up like tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you have to question like, One, you shouldn't do it just because it's kind of a scumbag thing. Well, it is a scumbag thing to do, but two, like that's fraud, and you need to realize that. I mean, everybody gets caught up in just what they can do in this miles and points sometimes, so they do it just to see if they can, and then they keep doing it because they can, versus asking themselves, you know what, should I? Is this legal? That question never comes up.
Yeah, sometimes you're walking that line and people should have their eyes open. And sometimes it's just always the play, or people think, oh, this is just a big company and they can afford it or whatever. And sometimes you do get these errors in your favor, and we talk about them all the time. And that is different than committing fraud, doing something purposeful in order
Yeah.
to get this windfall. Like what I said earlier, that story is purposely fraud. I mean, you're fraudulent, doing it on purpose. But anyway, like the banks are fine. Like you said, Chase is the best. Chase, we love you.
Yeah, you're number one. I mean, most people's number four now.
Well, we're going to get later in the show, we're going to bring your number one down a peg or
Yeah.
two. So I'm excited about that now. But let's talk Bank of America, one that they don't. I love Bank of America. They're up in my top banks because they're so easy to get cards with and so much lucrative stuff over the years. And they're making it even better because they have this AI assistant you can chat with, Erica, on their site. But now you can use it to get retention offers, which is really cool. So you can just go chat with it, tell it you want to close one of your accounts, and it will offer you something if you're eligible. I think DDG's article on Miles to Memories, he said an example was $175 statement credit after spending $1,500. Some people have gotten other statement credits. No annual fee cards too. But the one caveat is if you do accept one offer, then you won't get offers on any other Bank of America cards. So keep that in mind. Do you know how long you have to wait before you can get another one?
I don't. I didn't even realize that was a thing until this. I didn't even realize Bank of America really did retention offers outside of like waiving the annual fee, stuff like that. I've never really gotten too many spend offers from them. Maybe one, but it's just never something I consider like you do with Citi or Amex, or even Chase a little bit, but not much at all. So that's kind of cool to see, and it's fun to do this because you can just go through the cards pretty quickly. You pull it up and you say, I want to close my account. And then it asks you which account. And then you pick one card, and then it will say either you have this offer, or it will say, oh, you need to call in. You're not eligible to do this over chat. So you can kind of plow through them quickly. You don't have to talk to anybody, which is what I like about this. And people are seeing it. A lot of them are seeing it on those no fee, like the cash back earning cards that Bank of America has. I do think some people got them on like Alaska cards or co-branded cards, but I do think it's more prevalent on the Bank of America specific cards.
Happy anytime they make stuff like this easier, where you can just avoid having to talk to somebody and be able to get it. American Express allows you to chat with a human and get retention offers. So that is somewhat decent, but it is nicer. We just had a Citi retention experience. We always talk about doing this, and we always talk about how you ask the agent. My wife was calling in, and she only has 2 Citi cards right now, so not a ton of cards to look through. But the agent gave her a hard time about looking through offers on both cards. So maybe they're tightening things up at Citi.
Or just a lazy agent, one or the other.
Yeah, well, with Citi's websites and stuff, I have no hope that we'll get an online version of this at any point. But Bank of America's website's not much better, so maybe there is hope.
Yeah, when you're like, I love Bank of America, I do too. Like the cards, I like the bonuses. It's easier, or mostly easier, to get signups from them. But just making payments and things like that, it's so bad. And I will give Chase credit. I think their website's the best of all the banks by far. So hopefully the other ones hire some people that can update some stuff. Maybe this will be the good thing of AI. They can redesign bank websites.
This has been crazy. I've been in this space paying attention to the banks for over 15 years, like using these banks heavily in their websites. I do not feel like the websites have gotten much better in those 15 years. Minor updates. Citi did one big update where it got a little visually better. Chase has done the same thing. But for the large part, I mean, they just haven't, I don't know, all the progress that we've had over 15 years and not on the bank website front.
Hey, they're all better than Japanese airline carriers' websites, so that's good.
Well, let's talk about carriers. United is back with a new set of MilePlay targeted promotions, and these are those gamified promotions where it says, take certain amount of flights, you get a certain amount of bonus miles. But so you got to check your account. We have a link we'll put down there. But I actually have a couple of interesting ones, and they're both related to getting the credit card. Mine is you get about an extra 11,000 miles if you get the credit card and then you opt into marketing stuff. So I think that could be a nice little spiff on top of getting the welcome offer on the credit card. But my wife's is getting an additional 21,400. Same two things. Get the credit card, 10,000 bonus miles, 700 for opting in to push notifications, and then an extra 10,700 for doing both of those things. So then you're really starting to talk about some value here for getting the card.
Yeah, and I don't think they've ever done anything like that before. At least I don't remember it. It's usually like fly 3 premium economy or fly two first class round trips or something along those. And sometimes it's a big enough bonus that's worth chasing or changing some things around. But a lot of times it's just you're hopeful that it works into your travel plans already. But those credit card ones, especially with the perks you get if you fly United a couple times a year, you get access to more award space, discounted flights, the free baggage and everything like that. It can make a lot of sense. And then if you're throwing 20,000 miles on top of it, and when they have their increased offers, you're looking at another 60 or 80, depending on the card, sometimes up to 100. That makes a really nice bonus.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on the United cards and see if it makes sense. The end of this is August 28th. So maybe we'll get in the window on one of the increased offers on the United cards. But I like this idea. And this, maybe we talked about not having a lot of progress on bank websites. We have had an enormous amount of progress on airline loyalty programs, even over the last 5 years, in the way that they're engaging with customers, getting them into the ecosystem. They're spending across everything. The credit card perks, AA with their loyalty points sort of started this all. And yeah, I think that this, like you said, this is good. This is a good one. We need to see more of this for getting the card. And it's so many ways they're marketing now. I think this is a marketing message. It's like we see, like we talked about Rakuten deals. There's obviously affiliates. There's the bank websites. But yeah, why not just give them an extra 10,000 miles for getting your credit card at 20,000 and then lock them in to all those tentacles that you have everywhere else?
Yeah, I mean that's their print. That's where they're printing all their profit is selling miles to the banks and having people charge crap up on their credit card, paying interest fees, and earning miles that way. So why wouldn't you try to reach out and what they pay to other people to promote it? If you just give it to the customer in miles, it probably end up costing you less, and then gives them more value. They feel special about it. So I think this is a great play on their part.
So definitely check your accounts. There are still versions of the offer where it's like book this many flights, get this many bonus miles. And I have in the past only had like book one flight, get a few thousand. So for taking one flight, I earned thousands of miles. So definitely check on that. But we have to close with this, Mark, your favorite program, your top points program, and you have one major problem with it.
Yeah, with July 1st coming around, if you have the Palladium card, the hotel booking credit came back, and I wrote about this a couple months ago of how to go through it and do it, and it was a little bit confusing. They made it a bit better to use, and then you can use your monthly $100 and Bilt cash towards it and pair this up, so you can get $300 off a 2-night hotel stay. And I was like, all right, let me see with our upcoming trips that we have booked on points, do any of them work with this, that we could offset some of it? And I started searching our Bahamas trip where we're staying a couple nights at the Comfort Suites there, which gets you access to the Atlantis. So when I pulled it up, I did the initial search on the landing page. It said $279 a night. I'm like, okay, a little over 500, take 300 off. We're looking at a couple $100 plus some change. And on the point stay, I'm going to have to pay like $65 a night in a resort fee. So I'm like, okay, it's only like $100 difference. And I get that 90,000 choice points back. So I think that's a good deal. I'll use this credit. I don't have to worry about it. Whenever these come up, like the FHR credits, I try to use them as quickly as possible, so I don't have to think about it anymore. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, go through the booking process, get to the last page, and all of a sudden I'm hit with an $800 and some dollar bill, and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't think they were allowed to do this anymore. I thought they had to put the fees in there.
Yeah, it's the story is old as time, right? We've been going through this for years, where you would click and it would show you a price, and then you had to get all the way to the final screen before you saw the price. And then the government came in, about a year ago, and passed some new rules, and it says that you need to disclose everything but taxes up front. I believe that's exactly what it says, and they're not doing that here. Now, Bilt Travel is run by Expedia. We did a little research there. If you go to expedia.com and look at this thing, then you'll see the final price on the first search screen. So we don't really know like where this is coming from. Like, is it a Bilt design? And we didn't go through every credit card provider. Like, we didn't go to Chase Travel and all these other ones to see how they're displaying it. But I do believe that they are compliant, or have been in my searches. But this should be a simple fix for Bilt.
Yeah, and even on the Comfort Suites or on Choices Hotels website, it showed the nightly rate, and then it showed in a smaller print, and they try to hide it as much as possible. The total will be this. So they're even doing it on their own site. And yeah, the taxes are kind of high for this hotel. So I could see that would still make it change a bit, but the resort fee should be in there, and they should give you a total for the 2 nights, especially if it's this much difference. It would be a lot more helpful clicking through and everything. And I was just kind of surprised by it, and it made me turn off. And then I noticed that the price was like $100 higher than it was on Comfort Suite's own site. It was quite a bit higher than it was on Expedia's own site. And that's just a reminder, that's nothing new to bank portals. They do that. Sometimes they're cheaper, sometimes they're more expensive, but double or triple check the prices, check other portals, check the booking direct, see what offers the best price, because that extra $100 in Bilt cash basically gets gobbled up by their price increase. So it's really not that good of a deal. Not saying that's going to happen all the times. I have used this perk fairly easily at hotels that don't have a resort fee. This wouldn't be a problem because they would be showing the actual price on that search screen. But for ones that do have the resort fees, and if it's this high, it throws a wrench at everything. And they need to fix this, I think. One, for their consumers, the people that own their credit cards or use their platform, it's helpful to them, and it's just the right thing to do. And two, it might be a legal problem.
And just brand it that way. Brand it as our transparent price. You know, there's ways you could do this to actually get good juju for doing it, even though some others are doing it. I think taxes should be included. If you look at an airline price, a flight, then it shows you everything. It's not, oh, well, the fare is this and this tax is this and this. No, it's my flight is $99. So why is my hotel room not priced in the same way? So yeah, they should just do it, but also good juju. I don't know anybody. The thing is, they are telling you on the last screen, and all you're going to do when you get that person to the last screen and it's a higher price, you're going to piss them off. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a little bit of an oversight. Obviously, these rules are new, but as a business in this day and age of transparency, I don't know, put it up front and then highlight it so that everybody knows how transparent you're being. But maybe that's why I'm not up in a C-suite somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense why they were doing this. The hotels individually were doing stuff like this so they could hide it on Expedia, so you had to click through because you were scrolling through and searching all these different prices. But for like a search platform like Bilt or like Chase or Expedia, it doesn't make sense for them to hide it, because what does it matter to them? You're going to hopefully book one of them through there, and you're just price checking all these hotels. It just makes it easier on your customers by scrolling through quickly and be like, oh, all right, that's out of my price range when it's all in. This one's out of my price range when it's all in, but this one works. I'm more likely to book. Now, if I'm looking at a specific hotel, that's a different story. But if I'm just searching an area, I'm going to scroll through anyway. And I might quit after two because I get frustrated by saying, oh, well, these two should have been in my price range, but now they're not.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just too bad the government 20 years ago when they invented resort fees couldn't have just made a law making you just disclose the full price like they did with airlines. Again, we have this with airlines forever. It doesn't make any sense, but Bilt do better. So the big question is, Mark, is this big thing happening with Bilt? Does this knock them down in your rankings?
No, I mean, I never really liked the hotel credit anyway. It doesn't matter with their points.
I know.
I mean, it maybe makes the card a little bit less useful, especially if their portal is pricing out higher than booking direct all the time. I haven't done enough searches to see how the price compares there. But that does discount their card value a little bit for sure.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we discussed today. Bank of America retention offers online. Are you excited about that? Chase's dire warning for abusers. Are you scared that they're going to catch you? What's the craziest story you've heard of somebody just abusing it? Like maybe you were at a meetup and somebody told you a story and your eyes were open and you're like, wow, they like to push it. Leave that down below. We do 2 shows a week, and we also do our shows on Vegas. I'm going to plug it this time, Mark. So check us out on Miles to Memories Vegas as well. Listen as a podcast. You can find us everywhere. And don't forget, milestomemories.com. Tons of articles every week. Mark and the team writing all those up. So check those out as well. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Talk to you next time.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelt.